Hey guys, this is Tom Sorsey here with another ball motion analysis video. Today we're looking at the Storm Alpha Crux. Just get right into it here. The Alpha Crux, the GI 16 solid cover stock, you'll recognize that as, I guess, the updated newer version of the GI 15 that came out with the lock. It has the catalyst core, which again, all the Cruxes have. And you can see the RG numbers there on the screen, but as usual, I'm not even going to try to get too deep with that, and we'll try to keep it simple. This is mine here. Once again, very simple, 4.5-inch pin, no extra hole. We're bowling on a broken down house pattern again. Now there's some things I want to talk about with this ball before I start to throw you shots, because this is going to be a little different than some of the previous things that I've shown you before. The Alpha Crux is a high friction ball, and it is a slow response ball, and certainly best used as a slow response ball. So that means a couple of things. Firstly, like most slower response balls, it's one of the first balls that come out of my bag. I use this very often on the fresh. I use this very often when they're tighter, there's more volume on the lanes, or we have a slicker surface that we're playing on. And it's certainly something that I get a lot of use out of early. That being said, the fact that it is a high friction ball means that as the lanes begin to dry up, especially in the front part of the lanes, it's time to transition to something else. So let's take a look at a few shots here and you can see what I mean. As you're going to tell from the first couple here, you're going to see that it tends to use up a lot of energy, and a lot of that is from what I said. We have a high friction surface that's already had a lot of play on it, and it's been broken down, and you'll see it kind of struggle to turn the corner here a lot of the times for how I'm trying to use it. Some of the strategies with slower response time balls we've talked about before is trying to keep the angles closed. As with most slow response time balls, closed angles are the best plan of attack. There's a number of reasons for that we can get into. On the surface, essentially, it's just that slow response being what it is means that it takes the ball a longer time to make its move, and when you try to have your angles opened up, that's going to cause your ball to lose a lot of energy. So, as you can tell from looking at some of these shots, I try to keep my angles closed right here. As you can see, I'm going to get one to strike that I keep the angles closed. I'm going to give the next one a little too much gas, and it's going to shoot through. And then I think I split right after that one when I got one a little in, showing me that even with the closed angles, this part of the lane is not where I wanted to be with this ball. What I'm bowling on in this video isn't the optimal pattern to be using this ball, at least not at this point, maybe at the beginning of the day. So I've already talked about when I like to use this ball, and I do use it very often. But let's just say that you don't have a large arsenal of equipment. Let's say you go to bowl at your local bowling center and you've only got one or two options, and the Alpha Crux is one of them, and maybe there's a problem with the lane machine, the lanes are hooking a lot, or you bowl a second shift league, or let's say that you're rev dominant, your rev rate is higher than your speed is, and you have this as your only option. So what would I do to make this ball strike on what I'm bowling on? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to try to show you how to use slower response time balls in a high friction environment. What do we know here? This is a high friction ball, so we need to find a way to get the friction level down. I'm going to do that by increasing my ball speed, and I'm going to do that by decreasing my rev rate. I'm going to move to the right into the friction, and I'm going to keep my angles very closed, and I'm going to try to have this ball save as much energy as I possibly can. And what you'll see from these next three shots is that as long as we keep our angles closed, our speed up, and our rev rate down, all of a sudden we can make this ball look amazing, even on this broken down high friction house pattern. The reason that I wanted to show you this is because I want to show you that it's about manipulating your game to make your balls match up, and sometimes you've only got certain options and you've got to find a way to make it work. And even though I love this ball, and I use this ball a lot, and I use it on the fresh, and I use it when there's a lot of volume, this ball can still be used in a number of different ways. And that, I thought, was important to show you. Now the ball that I chose to compare it to today is the Crux Pearl. The Crux Pearl is an awesome 1-2 punch basically with the Alpha Crux for me. As you can tell from the shots you see right here, it's got a lower friction factor and it's quicker response. On the whole scale, I would call it medium to medium quick. It's not a very quick response ball, but compared to the Alpha Crux, it certainly is quicker. And you can tell from a lot of these shots here that it saves up its energy better and gets around the corner. Now, that also means that I almost never use the Crux Pearl on the fresh. Now, when I'm saying that, I mean on flatter patterns, because of the defined friction of your typical house patterns, it allows you to use quicker response time balls sooner. But because of the differences between these two balls, they work very well together, and I can usually get from the Alpha Crux when it looks good into a Crux Pearl most times that I use it. Hopefully, from looking at these, you see what I've been trying to accomplish with these ball videos and what I will continue to try to accomplish going forward. Essentially, it's not about how good a ball is. This ball is good, this ball is bad, because that's not the case. No ball is either good or bad. You have to be able to learn how to match up with your equipment. You need to choose what balls to add to your arsenal based on their usability and how they fit with the equipment you already have. Are you speed dominant? Are you rev dominant? What kind of environment are you bowling on? How many balls is your arsenal? Do you bowl competitive tournaments on harder patterns? These are all important questions, and that's kind of what I've been trying to dig at here. Once again, to sum up the Alpha Crux, this is a great high friction, slow response time ball. This ball is very usable early on in blocks when the volume is higher or when the pattern is fresh. As the heads begin to burn, as carry down gets down lane, you're probably going to have to move into something that's quicker response and perhaps a little lower on the friction factor. For example, the Crux Pearl. But out of the gate, this is the first ball that comes out of my bag at practically every tournament I go to. Hopefully that gives you a good idea of how usable this is and when to use it. If you have any questions, let me know. Leave the comments. Find me on Facebook. Find me on Twitter. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'm going to have another video coming out for you soon of the Roto Grip High Wire. And hopefully you enjoyed. Thanks.